Straight ahead on 12 News, a proposal to shake up the teaching profession. A local DFL lawmaker introduces a bill to get rid of teacher tenure. Plus, paying tribute to an Osseo junior high student through a special show of purple. But first, a fire rips through a Brooklyn Center apartment complex as firefighters trying to save lives make a very difficult find. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A 2-year-old child is dead and several families have been displaced after a fire broke out at a Brooklyn Center apartment complex.
The incident happened around 11:30 this morning at the Twin Lake North Apartments just off Bass Lake Road. Delane Cleveland joins us live from the apartment complex with more. Delane?
Alex and Shannon, investigators say they don't know the cause of the fire, but they do know that it started in the second floor unit where the child was found. When first responders arrived, they found a man who had jumped from his second-story unit due to the heavy smoke and fire inside of his apartment. The man, who identified himself as the boy's brother, told the authorities that the child was still inside. Firefighters got inside the apartment and found the child in one of the back bedrooms. He was taken to North Memorial and pronounced dead.
At this point, I don't know what attempts the male tried to do to get the child out, but obviously he was very distraught. When we arrived on scene, just from the heavy smoke and fire, it was a heavy fire.
Police say 2 other apartments sustained heavy damage in this fire, so about 3 or 4 families have been affected. Meanwhile, Brooklyn Center police, along with fire officials from the state and county, are investigating the cause. Reporting live in Brooklyn Center, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Thank you, Delane. It's also a somber day in Maple Grove where students are remembering a life that was lost way too soon.
On January 5th, 12-year-old Grace Heitzig went to bed and never woke up. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us how her friends and family are paying tribute to her.
Osseo Junior High School is known for repping orange and black, but today many students wore purple to remember 12-year-old Grace Heitzig. Purple was her favorite color. Happy birthday to you. Grace would have turned 13 years old today. Birthday, dear Grace. Her friends gathered to remember the girl whose smile used to light up the hallways. Happy birthday to you.
There's no words that I can say to you that will explain or condole the loss of one of our students.
The 7th grader was very energetic.
Nobody wants to lose a child, and it doesn't bring her back, but it makes it a little easier the hugs of a 7th grade class.
She loved to play board games with her family. She also liked to swim. She was on the Maple Grove High School swim team.
Gracie believed anything could happen and she could do it her way.
Her parents say they will miss their daughter's sweet spirit.
From the day she was born, she had giggles and a smile on her face, so that's kind of been what we talk about, is hope, sunshine, and giggles, and it was nice.
Not only did the student council help to plan events, but they also raised over $1,000 to help pay for Grace's funeral costs. In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Grace's parents say their daughter didn't have any major medical problems, but she did have an unexpected seizure this summer. They don't know if she had another one. Meanwhile, an autopsy didn't determine a cause for Grace's death.
The vice president of a Golden Valley company is accused of stealing more than $1 million from other companies to help feed a shopping addiction. Stephanie Langton Castillo is accused of stealing money from companies over a 5-year period while working for Balderson Property Management in Golden Valley. She's accused of drafting fake invoices and creating hundreds of fraudulent checks to pay personal bills. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office calls it the largest embezzlement case they've ever prosecuted. Castillo told investigators the thefts began when she was desperate for money to treat her cancer-stricken dog.
DFL State Senator Terry Bonoff says her bill challenging teacher tenure is a matter of modernizing education and not an effort to take on the teachers union. Bonoff says performance should be looked at first when it comes to layoffs in a school district rather than years of teacher experience. Bonoff says now that a teacher evaluation system is in place around the state, a performance-based system is the key to attracting and keeping the best teachers.
And so those teacher evaluations will become the key factor. Now, let's say 2 teachers are equally qualified. Seniority would be next.
Teachers Union Education Minnesota issued this statement in response. The union president says this relentless focus on layoffs won't help any teacher get better. It goes on to say that lawmakers need to fully fund the evaluation process and allow districts to use their local plans.
Encouraging students to make good choices starts at an early age, and that's the idea behind the DARE program, which celebrates 25 years in Minnesota this year. At Bassett Elementary School, DARE officers and students kicked off the spring semester of DARE. Years ago, the purpose of the program was to encourage kids to say no to drugs. Now it's about making healthy choices on everything from drugs to smoking to bullying.
This is relationship building and trust at the level of our future leaders. We invest heavily in our kids in this community, and it's really empowering them to make decisions as they continue to grow.
It's foundational. It starts at the roots about it gives kids confidence. It gives them the ability to reach out to make good choices. It also teaches them at a very early age that the police departments and throughout our state are here to support and develop, that they're a very integral part of the community.
Today, Cub Foods donated more than $50,000 to the program, some of which went toward workbooks for DARE students all across the state.
Dentists hope a free event taking place next month will help them fight dental disease among children. Bassett Creek Dental in Golden Valley is one of more than 200 dental offices in Minnesota that will take part in the annual Give Kids a Smile event on February 6th and 7th. That weekend, 3,000 dental professionals will volunteer their time and provide free dental care to children under the age of 18 who have pre-registered. Dentists expect about 6,000 kids will take advantage of the program statewide.
There's a fairly substantial underserved population, and dentists want to be sure that they can do what they can to help. Certainly this cause is not the final solution, but it certainly puts a dent into the problem.
There are still spots available for anyone who's interested. People can either call the United Way at 211 or go online to mndental.org to schedule an appointment. Coming up, a Brooklyn Center man lends his famous gospel singing voice to a cause that's close to his heart.
And later in sports, we'll head to the Lake Conference for gymnastics and one local team's big meet.
But first, plenty of clouds this weekend, but milder temperatures. We'll be right back.
Become an annual tradition at Woodland Elementary in Brooklyn Park continued today. For a day of service, students stuffed pillows, they made cards and tied blankets, all to be donated to Gillette Children's Hospital. Volunteers with help from a District 279 Foundation grant started this project 10 years ago. In that time, they've donated more than 1,500 blankets to the Children's Hospital.
This is something where the children are able to work with their hands and give the gift of their talent and give the gift of their time.
It's so important to teach the whole child these days, and so it's really important to give leadership opportunities, service opportunities, mentorship opportunities, and this has been an incredible way for Woodland to teach the whole child.
All 900 students in the school participated in the project. The youth group from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did all the prep work for the blankets for today's project. If you've seen gospel singer Robert Robinson perform, you know he's a local treasure.
He will perform Saturday at the Dakota Jazz Club in Minneapolis to help benefit a special church. Neil Persley has more in today's Weekend Showcase.
People get ready. There's a train coming.
Get ready indeed. Brooklyn Center's own Robert Robinson will be giving a benefit performance Saturday for the little church in North Minneapolis that he grew up in.
This is where I grew up. This is where I started working with choirs and groups and did a lot of intense solo stuff. This is where all of that noise was in these walls.
You may have seen the big man perform before, but this time he will be accompanied by someone very special, his vocal mentor.
I feel like my mother's gift to us was her teaching us singing, and singing with the right spirit, the right attitude.
The Martin Luther King tribute concert will sandwich songs that were specific to the civil rights movement with socially conscious contemporary songs of that period.
They were written by artists who wanted to speak during that time frame about what was going on with the people. They wanted to speak to society. They wanted to speak within their communities.
Robinson will be bringing his powerful voice to the Dakota, but it's what won't be accompanying him that people may notice first.
In March of 2014, I had a bariatric surgery procedure done, and since then, altogether now I've lost a little over 200 pounds.
For Robinson, his weight was his separation and his buffer from the world. He saw it as both friend and enemy, but eventually more enemy than friend.
I had to really just come to terms with the fact that I had to let it go.
Spending time with Robert, one is struck by the honest, humble nature of a man so richly blessed with musical talent.
But I do know that it came from God. And I'm just trying to take what he's given to me and do the best that I can with it.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Neil Persley.
The Gospel Brunch fundraiser at the Dakota Jazz Club in Minneapolis starts at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. For ticket information, you can go to dakotacooks.com. Coming up, students showcase their artistic creativity with a special exhibit in Robbinsdale.
But first in sports, the Osseo and Totino-Grace hockey teams face off in a first-place conference showdown. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back. John's here now with sports, a very big hockey game to tell us about.
Yeah.
And we're talking about some conference changes, a new fall for this team.
Osseo facing Totino-Grace, which has been rare in boys hockey in the past. It is a big week for the Osseo boys hockey team. The Orioles, Totino-Grace, and Spring Lake Park are battling for the West Division lead in the Northwest Suburban Conference. The Orioles hosting Totino-Grace Thursday. Osseo gets on the board. The Grace player knocks the puck out of the air, but it causes trouble for the Eagles. Sean Stokowski shovels in the loose puck before the goalie can cover, and it's 1-0 Orioles. Later in the first period, Jake Gunderson behind the net sets up Sam Ruzinski for the quick one-timer, and it's tied up 1-1. In the second period, Osseo regains the lead. Ben Christofferson gets it to Boone Almquist, and he picks his spot with a wrist shot. It's a power play goal. Osseo's in front 2-1. Osseo looking to extend the lead. Christofferson gets it to Anthony Heitzig, but Eagles goalie Jackson Lux makes a big stop and keeps it 2-1 through 2 periods. In the third, Heitzig won't be denied on a breakaway. He'll tuck it home between Lux's pads, and it's 3-1 Orioles. Almquist adds an empty netter as Osseo takes over first place in the West Division with a 4-1 win. They meet Spring Lake Park in another key game on Saturday. The Maple Grove girls hockey team is hoping to reach the state tournament for the first time this season. Crimson will have to get through a tough Section 6AA tournament to do so. They faced another top section contender. They faced off with Minnetonka. Minnetonka's Kippen Keller will drop a pass here to Presley Norby. Norby putting the shot on goal. Keller goes hard on the net and jams the rebound in. 1-0 Tonka after 1. Second period, and Maple Grove answers. Lauren Kaufman centers to Taylor Wente for the goal, and it's a 1-1 game just 38 seconds into the period. Later in the second, Lucy Holscher carries it into the Crimson zone. Emma Bigham there to knock home the puck, and it's 2-1 Skippers. Third period, the pass will come back to the point. Kelsey Crow's high shot sails in for a power play goal and a 3-1 Minnetonka lead. Maple Grove tries to battle back, but Katie Denicke's shot hits the pipe here. The Crimson fall for the first time this season. 3-1 Minnetonka is the final. The Wayzata Gymnastics team won the Lake Conference in Section 6AA a year ago. The Trojans and an improving Hopkins team took the floor for a meet last night. This is Wayzata's Claire Lorbecki. A senior vaults to a score of 9.40, and she wins the event. To the uneven bars, and Hopkins' Bree Richardson. She'll tie for first for the Royals in this event with a score of 7.3. Wayzata's Sally Dorr on the unevens now. The sophomore lands with a mark of 8.3. Good night for the Trojans. To the balance beam, June Van of Hopkins earns the Royals' best score. She'll land with a final mark of 8.075. Now, Larbecki of Wayzata wins 3 of the 4 events, including the beam, with a score of 9.525. Wayzata scores a season-high 139.025, and they win the meet. Hopkins finishes the night with 125.775. The addition of Totino-Grace to the Northwest Suburban Conference brings a strong wrestling program into the mix. Maple Grove on the road to take on the Eagles, who are rated 5th in Class 2A. Totino-Grace starts strong. Jake Sviel has the arm locked up on Texas Tan in the 106-pound match. Sviel able to stack Tan and gets the pin. Grace wins the first 3 matches, and they grab a 16-0 lead. Maple Grove storms back. Jack Herby spins for the takedown on his way to a 6-0 win over Michael Menth at 126 pounds. At 132, Brad Ostachuk dominates. This takedown finishes off a technical fall win over Nathan Downey, and that pulls the Crimson within 16-8. Theo G keeps it rolling for Maple Grove, getting a pin at 138 pounds. Another win puts Maple Grove in front. But Totino-Grace breaks a 22-all tie by winning the last 4 matches. Isaac Florell with the pin over Quinn Anderson at 182 pounds, and Totino-Grace pulls away to win it 46-22. And coming up tonight, live on Channel 12, more wrestling as it's Armstrong and Cooper in the Robbinsdale Rumble at Robbinsdale Middle School.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
Still ahead, creativity on full display in Robbinsdale.
Students showcase their artistic talents when we come back.
And finally, students from Robbinsdale area schools put their creativity on display.
Drawings, paintings, and pottery are just a few of the art pieces you can see at the Robin Gallery in Robbinsdale. The exhibit features artwork by middle and high school students, and students in the Robbinsdale district can take art classes from kindergarten all the way through their senior year of high school. One local art teacher says those courses can help develop skills.
I think everyone is an artist. I think it's just like a sport, a musical instrument. The more you practice, the better you get. Obviously, we all have our skills and strengths in certain areas. You can develop those areas and grow.
The exhibit is on display through January 29th. I like that sound bite. Some people have a little bit more natural skill, I think.
You can all get better.
Sounds
like a coach does
you can
that,
always
right?
work on it, that's right. And that does it for us now. Thanks so much for joining us.
Community Corners coming up next.